My name is Pratham Mathar, and for today's video, I'll be reading an EKG chart. First, we want to look at their beats per minute. We see this by dividing 300 by the amount of squares between their R peaks. In this case, it would be around 4, indicating that there is a beats per minute of 75 beats per minute. Next, we look at the rhythm. There is around an evenly spaced R peaks from each other, so this patient has a regular rhythm. Next, we look at the P wave. The P wave indicates, is there atrial depolarization? In this case, yes, there is atrial depolarization happening. Next, we want to look at the P to R wave, which is the time from the P wave to the beginning of the QRS wave, which indicates the time between atrial depolarization to ventricular depolarization, and in which that time must be 120 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds. And this patient does have that. Next, we want to look at the QRS wave, which just indicates, does this patient have ventricular depolarization? And in this case, yes. Next, we want to look at the S to T wave, which indicates final depolarization of the heart. And in this case, this patient does have an S to T wave, indicating that the heart is ventricularly depolarization. Then we will look at the T wave. The T wave indicates that is there ventricular repolarization happening, which again starts the cycle of electrical activity in the heart. In this case, yes, the bump after the QRS wave is the T wave, and so he does have it. Next, we want to look at this patient, in which he has around 300 beats per minute, which is tachycardic. Then we want to look at his rhythm. His rhythm is relatively even, so he does have an even rhythm, but we want to also look at the P wave. The P wave is not present, so there is no atrial depolarization happening. Then we will look at the P to R wave. There is no P to R wave, and that time it's very short. So the time between atrial depolarization to ventricular depolarization is very short. Then we want to look at the QRS wave. The QRS wave is present, indicating that there is ventricular depolarization. However, the slope at the top indicates that it is taking a very long time. Next, we want to look at the S to T wave. There is no S to T wave, indicating that there is no ventricular depolarization happening, or final ventricular depolarization happening. Then we want to look at the T wave. The T wave is also not present, indicating that there is no repolarization of the heart.